You can use a block, anything to try to lift your hips up above your knees. If you are sitting cross-legged, it will make it much more comfortable to sit. All right, so we'll just take a few moments to begin, relax the body. So turning the attention inward, shutting out the busyness and chaos of the day. And we'll start by taking 2 deep cleansing breaths. So take a nice big inhale through the nose and exhale it all out by blowing or sighing it out. And one more nice big inhale and exhale it all out. And then soften the muscles of the face. Relax the muscles of the neck and the shoulders. And then turn the attention to the breath. Notice the inhale. And notice the exhale. And then we'll begin a nice, even breathing. Inhaling and exhaling to a count of 4. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. And just continue with this nice, even breathing. If at any time it makes you lightheaded or dizzy, just go back to your own normal breathing pattern. And then we also set an intention for each practice to help remind us why we are here. So that may be a benefit you would like to receive, or just an uplifting or a positive thought or phrase. So think of an intention that you'd like to have for your practice today. And then with your inhale, go ahead and lift your head and open your eyes. If you do have your legs crossed, if you want to switch your legs, go ahead and do that. And then we'll begin our warm-up by turning our heads to look out over that right shoulder. And coming back to center and turning to look out over the left. And back to center, dropping the chin to the chest. And then picking the chin up towards the ceiling and jutting that lower jaw out. And coming back to center and dropping the right ear to the right shoulder. And back to center and left ear to left shoulder. And back to center. And then extending the hands out in front, open and close the fingers. And then some wrist circles. And reverse. Good, and then bringing those hands back to your lap, we'll start some shrugs. So picking those shoulders up, pulling them back down. And then the next time you pick those shoulders up, roll them to the back. Doing some shoulder rolls. And then bringing the shoulders back to neutral, extending the arms out in front, elbows and palms together, clasping the hands. And then with an inhale, extending the elbows out, lifting the chin and chest, filling the lungs. And then as you exhale, folding back into center, elbows together, drop the chin to the chest. And then inhale, expanding back out. Exhale, folding into center. And again, inhale, expand. And exhale, back to center. Good, and then release the hands down, bringing the right hand to the outside of the right hip. And then inhale, sweep that left arm up. And exhale, bend to the right. And then inhale back to center. As you switch arms, sweep that right arm up. And exhale, bend to the left. And then inhale back to center, release that right arm, and coming into a twist. So we'll take that left hand, place it on the right knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, bringing that right hand around behind you as you turn to look out over that right shoulder. And then exhale back to center, switch hands. And take a big inhale. I think I said the wrong exhale now. And as you turn to look to the left, bringing the left hand around behind you. And really using that left hand as a little kickstand to support the spine. And then exhale back to center. And then extending your legs if you had them crossed out in front of you, and shake them out a little bit. And then taking your hands, placing them under that right thigh, pulling the knee in and extending it out. So just bending and extending. And then the next time you pull that knee in, hold it there, point and flex the foot. And then some ankle circles. And reverse. And then switch legs, same thing. Pulling that knee in, extending it out. And the next time you pull it in, hold it there, point and flex. And circles. And reverse. And then before we come into cat-cow, we're going to do a little hip opener called Pandangusthasana. So we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Now, the important thing here is as you pull the feet in, you want to pay attention to your low back. We don't want to round the low back, which is easy to do this kind of thing, kind of hunch forward. So bring your hands around behind you. Support your spine with your fingertips. Just press into the mat and kind of lift your chest and press through your knees. And you'll feel a nice opening in those inner thighs. And just take a few breaths. So we're going to be doing some hip openers before we come up to standing here. Good. All right, relax that out. And now we're going to come on to hands and knees for cat-cow and downward facing dog. So if you want to open up your blanket to support your knees and shins, go ahead and do that. And then coming on to hands and knees for cat-cow. Remember to place the wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And with an inhale, lift the chest and the sit bones, arching the spine. And with your exhale, pressing into your hands, rounding the spine, dropping the chin to the chest. Inhale, back to cow. Exhale into cat. And then I'm going to let you work at your own pace here for a couple of seconds. Try to make it a nice rhythmic movement, just moving from cow into cat and back. And the next time you do cat, then after that, just come back to that neutral spine. So we're going to come into downward facing dog. For those of you who have done downward facing dog before, you're welcome to curl your toes, press into those hands, lift the hips, and then press into the hands as you drop your head between your arms, pull the shoulders down the back. Now, if you're new to downward facing dog, then I'm going to show you puppy pose. So you can start here. So keeping your knees under your hips, just walk your hands forward. So it's the same lengthening through the arms and the shoulders. And then drop your chest down towards the floor. And, you know, if you can extend your arms out a little bit farther so you get that stretch between the shoulders and the arms. Again, you're just working on lengthening through the back. If you're in downward facing dog, keep a bend in your knees to keep that back straight, or you can walk the dog, which is bending one knee and then the other. Good. And then coming back to hands and knees. So if you're in down dog, go ahead and bring your knees back down to the mat. And then we're going to come down on our backs. So just sweep your legs to one side as you walk those hips down. And you can fold your mat up or your blanket up. And then extend the legs. Now you'll want to make sure your strap is close. Roll onto your side, lower yourself down, and onto your back. All right. So we're going to start by extending the legs and then bending the right knee and just wrapping your hands around your shin. Pull that knee in towards the chest. Just hug that leg in towards your chest. Good, just starting to lengthen those hamstrings. And then release the right leg and try it on the left. So just pulling that left knee in towards your chest and just hug it in as much as you can. Good, and then releasing that left leg. And then grabbing your strap, we're going to come into Supta P 1 and 2. So you'll bend that right knee, take your strap at the midpoint of the strap, place it on the ball of the right foot, and then extending the right leg, just loosen the strap so that you can completely extend that right leg. You want to focus on the back of the knee When the leg is straight, it does not have to be 90 degrees. Maybe you're down here. That's fine, as long as the leg is extended. Then walk your hands up the strap and pull the shoulders down the back. At the same time, press that right thigh away from you. So at this point, this is where it's crucial to listen to your body. You should just be feeling a nice deep stretch here. Back off of it if you feel pain or discomfort. Press through that left heel. Now, if you have low back issues, please feel free to keep that left knee bent. That will help protect that low back. Otherwise, you can extend that left leg. Good. Continue to breathe. And then we're going to come into Supta P2. So we're going to take both straps, place them in your right hand, and then keeping the left hip on the floor, that's the key, begin to drop that right leg out to the side. Now, lengthen your hand down the strap towards you so that the strap lengthens, and you can put your right elbow on the floor. And then that will help you support that right leg as it comes out to the side. You also want to rotate the right leg. So you want to do an external rotation. So how you know you're doing that is your right heel should be either even with your toes or maybe even a little higher. So again, make sure that that left hip stays on the floor. Adjust myself here. Continue to breathe. Good. And then with your exhale, just go ahead and bend that right knee, come back to center, remove your strap. We'll try it on the other side. So either keeping that right knee bent, again, if you have low back issues, if not, extending the right leg, placing the strap on the ball of the left foot, bend that knee, pull the leg in, and then extending the leg. Walk your hands up the strap, pull the shoulders down towards the mat. So your shoulder blades should be on the mat. And then press that left thigh away from you. Press through your right heel if your leg is extended. If not, keep the knee bent. Continue to breathe. Good, and then we'll come into Supta P2, grabbing both ends of the strap with the left hand. Again, focus on the right hip. So lengthen the strap so you can bring your left elbow down to the mat to support that leg, and then taking it out to the side, rotating the leg so that your left heel is in line with the toes, and making sure you haven't rolled onto that left hip. So maybe you need to bring your leg back up a little bit if you've rolled onto that left hip. And then continue to breathe. Good, and then bending that left knee, go ahead and bring it back to center. Remove your strap, just put that to the side. And then we'll come into a twist just to neutralize the spine. So bending both knees, bringing the arms out at shoulder height, turn the palms up. And then just press into your heels as you pick your hips up, just about an inch or so. Shift them over to the left, about 2 inches, and then pick your feet up off the floor, stack your knees over your hips, and then drop the knees to the right. And then you want to try to focus on getting that left shoulder on the mat. So press into the back of the right hand. And if you can, turn to look out over that left shoulder. And just take a couple of breaths here. Good, and then with your inhale, bring those knees back to center. Bring your feet down, pick those hips up, come back to center, and then shift them over to the right. And then pick your feet up off the mat, stack those knees over the hips, and then drop the knees to the left. And again, trying to keep that right shoulder on the mat, press into the back of the left hand, and turn to look out over that right shoulder. Good, and then with the inhale, bring those knees back to center. Place those feet on the floor, shift the hips back to neutral. And then from here, go ahead and roll onto your side and push yourself back up to your seated position. And then we're going to come up to standing. So from here, however you normally come up, if you bring a foot forward and then come up or roll back on the balls of the feet. All right, so now that we're standing, if you use a block for side angle or triangle, go ahead and grab your block. I think I showed you last week for triangle. You can also use the chair. So if you want, bring the chair to the, so the seat is facing inward on the mat because you'll come down this way and you can put your hand on the chair. I'll show you as we come into the pose. All right, so standing, let's stand in the middle of the mat, just facing forward, coming into Tadasana. So having those feet parallel with one another, finding the four corners of the feet, spreading those toes, lifting up through the arches, tightening the front of the thighs, bringing the arms alongside the body, lifting and tightening the abdominals, lengthening up through the spine. Pick the shoulders up, roll them down the back so the chest is lifted. And keeping the chin parallel to the floor, gazing forward, and coming back to that nice, even breathing. Good. So we're going to do a side bend here just to warm up the spine a little bit. So with an inhale, go ahead and sweep your arms all the way up. With the exhale, keep the left arm up. Exhale the right arm down as you bend to the right. Now, as you bend, keep your shoulders in alignment. So don't collapse forward here. Only go down as far as you can that you can keep the left side or left shoulder open. Good. Inhale back to center. Exhale it out. And then we'll switch sides. So inhale, sweep that right arm up. And exhale, bend to the left. Good. And with the inhale, come on up. I guess I forgot to sweep my left arm up. Good. Now exhale, bring those arms down. And then from here, we're going to come into a wide stance. So make sure your block is as you step your feet wide. We'll start over here on the right foot. So have your block behind that right foot. Now, we're going to bring the arms up to shoulder height. And this is called star pose. So it's
kind of a good gauge for where you are leg-wise. Ideally, when you come into side angle and triangle, they say your legs should be about your leg length apart. And generally, that means when you extend your arms, your ankles are underneath your wrists. Now, I have long arms, so that's a pretty wide stance. But again, it's where you feel safe. If you need to, put your chair in front of you so you can hold on if you feel a little unsteady here. All right, so we're going to come into side angle. So we're going to start by turning that right foot out 90 degrees, line it up with the instep of the left foot, and then bend the right knee. Stack it right over the ankle. Make sure your block is right next to that right foot. All right, as you inhale, lengthen through the spine, and then exhale, lean to the right, turn the right palm up and place the forearm on your thigh. And then inhale, sweep that left arm up so it's next to your ear. The palm is facing down towards the floor. And you want to try to make this angle from the end of your left fingertips down to your left heel. Now, if you have a shoulder issue where it's uncomfortable to lift your arm like this, then you're always welcome to place your hand on your hip. And again, focus, but you're still keeping the left chest and shoulder open, whether you're here or here. Good. So with an or you could put your hand on your block. That's why your block is here. Good. So with an inhale, come on back up, straighten that right leg. Exhale, bring the arms down. If you did want to use the block, bring it over here to the left. Turn that right foot back to facing forward. And then we'll try it on the other side. So turning the left foot out. Again, line up the heel with the instep of the right foot. Bending the left knee. Inhale, bring the arms up to shoulder height. And then with the exhale, lean to the left. Turn the palm up. Either place the forearm on the thigh or place your hand on your block. Again, sweep that right arm up next to the ear or keeping it on your hip. So either one, continue to breathe. Really lengthen up through that right side of the body. Good. And then with the inhale, lift the torso, straighten that left knee. Exhale, bring the arms down. Go ahead and turn the left foot in. Pick up your block, bring it back over to the right side. So we're now going to come into triangle. I am going to show you how to use the chair too, if you want. So if you think you're going to use the chair here, go ahead and grab your chair. You see how I have the seat of the chair facing the long end of the mat here, and I just have it to the back of my right foot. And then I have my block. The block will go to the pinky toe side of your right foot because you're going to turn that right foot out. Now remember, in triangle, this right leg stays straight. And then you're going to turn and face the front. Inhale, bring those arms up to shoulder height. With the exhale, you're going to lean to the right as far as you can. And then exhale, bring that right hand down. So either on the chair, on the block, maybe you're here, maybe it's on your thigh, or maybe you can reach down to your ankle. And then extending that left arm up, trying to get the left arm up towards the ceiling, palm facing forward. Again, keeping that left shoulder and chest open. And continue to breathe. Tighten the front or the top of that right thigh. That'll pull the kneecap up. Good, and with an inhale, lift the torso. And to exhale, bring the arms down. We'll try it on the other side. So if you used your block, bring that over. If you used your chair, bring that over. And then turning that left foot out, so the block will go on the pinky toe side of the foot. Again, line up the heel with the instep of the right foot, keeping that leg straight. So you'll notice your right hip is angled to the left. That's okay, but you're going to turn from the waist up and face forward. Bring the arms up to shoulder height. Take a nice big inhale. And with your exhale, you're going to lean to the left. Again, when you've gone as far as you can, then bring that left hand down. Again, maybe it's on the chair. Maybe it's on your thigh, shin, block. So obviously lots of options here. Maybe it's your ankle. Tightening that quad or the front of the thigh. Lifting that left arm up. Again, if this is discomfort in the shoulder, then just place the hand on the hip. Good, and continue to breathe. Good, and then with the inhale, lift the torso. Exhale, bring the arms down. Turn that left foot in, and then go ahead and walk the feet in. Just walk it out a little bit. Shake it out. Good. All right. We're going to come into tree pose. So if you do have a chair nearby or would like to use your chair, just pull that into the center of the mat. So it's there for support. Maybe you're near a counter. You can also use a counter or the wall. All right, so we start by coming back into Tadasana. And we're going to shift the weight over to the left leg. So you can have the left hand on the wall, counter chair. Bend the right knee. And then take that knee at about a 45-degree angle. Options are to slide that right foot over, resting the right heel on the left ankle, staying here, bringing the foot out up to the outer side of the calf, or reaching down, bringing the foot up to the inner thigh. I usually start in prayer, get my balance here, find my gazing point, tighten those abdominals. You're welcome to stay here or extending the arms up past the branches of your tree. This is also a great pose to try with your back on the wall. Again, if you're working on your balance and you feel a little unstable, try it with your back on the wall. Good, and then exhale, go ahead and bring those arms down. And release that right leg, walk it out, shake out that left leg. And then we'll try it on the other side. So keep a right hand on the chair or something to support you if you need to. Shift the weight over to the right leg. Bend that left knee, taking it out at 45 degrees or so. Again, you can keep toes on the floor. You can bring it to the outside of the calf. You just don't want to rest your foot on the ankle joint or on the knee joint itself. Bringing the leg up to the foot up to the inner thigh. If you do bring your foot up to the inner thigh, then take that inner thigh, the right inner thigh, press it against the left foot and press your left foot into the right inner thigh. Tighten those abdominals. Find your gazing point. You're welcome to stay here or extend the arms up. Good. Continue to breathe. Whatever is a challenge for you. Good. And then exhale, bring those arms down. Release the left leg, walk it out. Good. And then we're going to come down on the mat. We will stay on the mat, so make sure you have your strap nearby and anything else that you would need for Savasana. So we won't be coming back up. All right, so we're going to start by sitting on the mat. I'm going to turn this way. So we're going to do a pose called Dandasana. So it's similar to Tadasana, our standing mountain pose, except we're going to be sitting. So same type of mechanics here for this pose. So as I sit here, here's one thing I want you to do. We're going to widen through the pelvis. So I want you to roll onto your left sits bone, take your right hand and just bring it underneath you to your right sits bones or your buttocks and just pull your buttock or your glutes away from your sits bone. So you're kind of pulling them to the back. And then try it on the other side. Just roll onto the right side, pull the muscle away from that sits bone. So when you sit, you should feel that you have a little firmer seat because you've pulled the muscle away from that bone. The legs are extended out in front, again, just like in Tadasana, about shoulder width apart. Your knees and your toes are pointing up to the ceiling. Now, the important thing in this pose is you're not here. So you can see how I've rounded my back. And depending on how tight your hamstrings are, you know, you may be here. So we want to support this low back. So you're going to bring your hands alongside the body, keep a little bend in your elbows, and then you're going to press into your hands to help lift and extend that spine to eliminate this rounding. So lifting the chest, now make sure your shoulders are stacked right over your hips. And just like you do in Tadasana, your gaze is forward, the chin is parallel to the floor. But I'm using my hands to lengthen and extend the torso, and again, mainly eliminate that curve or that rounding in the low back. Press through the heels. Good. Continue to breathe. And then with your exhale, go ahead and relax it out. And staying here, we're going to bend the knees and we're going to come into a posture. We actually haven't tried this before in this class. It is a little more intermediate, so I want you to just do what you can do. You're probably going to feel this more in your wrists than anywhere else. So if your wrists start to bother you, as a matter of fact, just take a moment to kind of shake them out and relax. So this is called reverse table. So when we're on our hands and knees, that's also called table pose. Imagine you're sort of flipping that. So now you're going to be in a table, but you're going to be facing up. So you're going to bring those hands a little bit more behind you than where you were for Dandasana. You were probably having your hands alongside your hips. I want you to walk your hands back, maybe about 6 inches or so. Now, your fingertips are facing towards you. If that bothers you, because what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to come up like that. If that's too much weight on your wrists, then turn your hands to the side so your fingers are facing outward, okay? That won't put as much pressure on the wrist. So you can try that too. All right, so hands are a little bit behind you. Again, I'm guessing maybe about 6 inches or so. You may have to play around with that. You're going to have your feet extended a little bit in front of you too. So in other words, they're not right underneath your knees, but extended a little bit out in front of you. Now, if you've done my chair yoga class, we do this using the chair. So it's the same posture, only more, you know, you've got a lot more weight in your hands and shoulders. So here's what I want you to do. We're just going to start this in a couple of steps. So with an inhale, you're going to lift your chest, press into those hands, and see if you can just pick your hips up off the floor. And then exhale, come back down. Maybe that's where you start. If your hands are okay here, see if you can do it one more time. If you are okay lifting there, then it's basically just going a little bit higher than that, lifting as high as you can, and holding it for a couple of breaths. Again, this is all just little baby steps that you're going to do. All right, so let's try it again with a nice big inhale. Lift the chest. If you can, lift the hips here. If you can, lift a little bit higher. And then if you can, maybe a little bit higher. Dropping the head back. If that's uncomfortable, then just holding the neck in line with the spine. Take a breath. And with the exhale, go ahead and release those hips back down to the mat. Release those hands. I really feel that in my wrist. And I felt it up here in my shoulders too. So it is a hard pose, and it's good because it is going to build strength in your wrist, but you're just going to start very slow. Again, with your hands out to the side, that's going to be a little less pressure on the wrist. But just try it throughout the week. Just a simple lift and come back down. Just start there. All right, let's go ahead and do a little twist then. It's always good when you do a back bend to neutralize the spine. So we'll start with the legs extended. Now, I'm going to give you two options. You can keep the left leg extended, bend the right knee, place the right foot to the outside of the left knee, or bend the right knee, pick up that left foot, and see if you can cross it underneath the right thigh, bringing the left foot to the outside of the right hip. If you have a block nearby, you can try sitting on the block. That's going to make that a lot easier, or your blanket. And then pick up your right foot and bring it to the outside of the left knee. Try to have your left knee pointing forward as much as you can. All right, from here, we're going to inhale, lengthen. And with the exhale, you'll bring that right hand around behind you. Take that left arm, wrap it around that right knee, pull it in towards you. If you can bring the left shoulder in front of the right knee, then you can bring the left upper arm to the outside of the right knee. I don't expect you to be here. This would be a much safer option. So just pull that knee in, and then as you exhale, turn to look out over that right shoulder. And breathe. Good, and then exhale, release that twist, and then we'll try it on the other side. So again, you're welcome, if that's too much for your knee, to bend it and bring it here. Just leave the leg extended. and then you'll bring the left foot to the outside of the right knee. If your knee's okay, then you'll take your right foot, bring it underneath the left. Again, if you're on your block, that's going to make it easier. You can also be on a blanket or two. So bringing that right foot to the outside of the left hip, pick up the left foot, bring it to the outside of that right knee. And then inhale to lengthen. And as you exhale, focus on those lower right ribs, way down here. That's what's going to begin to turn first. Then bring your left hand around behind you, wrap that right arm around that left knee, pull it in towards you. Again, if you are a little more flexible, you can bring the back of the right arm to the outside of that left knee. But again, don't compromise your spine, don't round forward as you're doing that. And looking out over that left shoulder and breathing. Good, and then exhale, releasing the twist. Go ahead and uncross the legs. Come off your block. And then we'll come down on our backs. We'll do a little windshield wiper just to release those hips. And then we'll come into legs up the wall. I also said if you don't have a block or a bolster, it's actually a modified legs up the wall, because obviously most of us probably don't have a wall right next to us. But you can always use your chair too. So I'll show you how to do that in a second. So again, rolling onto your side, lowering yourself down. So as you lay on your back, bend the knees, place your feet flat on the floor, and then walk your feet out to the side so you feel the edges of your mat. So you've got your knees are wide here. And we'll just do a little windshield wiper. It's just a good hip opener, take any tension that's in the hips out. And so we'll start by dropping the right knee over to the left. You can bring the arms up to goddess if you'd like. You can bring them overhead and stretch here. And come back to center and drop the left knee down towards the right. And then inhale back to center. And then I'll just let you work at your own pace here. Again, just a nice rhythmic movement as you drop one knee down, the other out to the side in what we call windshield wiper. And then as you come back to center, walk the feet back to the center. If you have your block or a bolster, even the rolled up blanket, we'll come into legs up the wall or modified legs up the wall, coming into bridge, placing that block under the sacrum, picking up the knees and extending the legs. If you don't have a block, then just use your chair. So what you would do, scooting in towards your chair and then placing your legs on the chair like this. You're still in an inversion, and the whole point is to get all that blood that tends to pool in the lower extremities back to the heart. And then to come out of the pose, slowly bend your knees if you've got them up in the air, and lower one foot down to the mat and then the other. If you're on the chair, just sliding those legs off the chair. And then coming into Savasana, so whatever you need to do to make yourself more comfortable.
So it's laying flat on your back with your legs extended out in front of you, arms alongside the body, palms have rotated up towards the ceiling. And then turning the attention back to the breath. Begin to notice the breath. Notice the inhale and notice the exhale. With your next inhale, let the abdomen rise first, then the chest, filling the lungs all the way up to the collarbones. And with your exhale, let the collarbones fall first, then the chest, then the abdomen, drawing the navel to the spine. Just taking a few of these nice deep breaths. And then focus on the physical body. Relax all the muscles from the feet all the way up to the crown of the head. Release any tension or tightness. And then focus on the mind. Release any thoughts, worries, or anxieties. Imagine yourself in a place that brings you peace. Give yourself just a few moments to completely let go. Start moving your fingers and toes. And then the wrists and the ankles. And when you're ready, bending both knees and rolling onto your right side in a fetal position. And taking a few breaths here. And then using your left hand to support you, pushing yourself back up into your seated position. And keeping the body relaxed and the eyes closed for another moment. Focus on the intention that you set at the beginning of the practice. And then we'll take one more deep cleansing breath. So take a nice big inhale and exhale it all out. And then go ahead and lift your head and open your eyes. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Namaste. Have a wonderful weekend.